Read Myths of Mesopotamia. I've already started the Epic of Creation. I'm in the middle of Tablet 1. Let's begin. Let's see if you guys can keep up. It's hard. It's hard. I don't really know how to explain it. Spoilers ahead. In the middle of Tablet 1, it begins with Gods create their children were creating their children were creating their children, and that's what we're watching. Maruto, which is a play on Marduk. Who's Marduk? He's like king of the underworld, but I thought that was Ereshkigal. He's a patron god of Babylon, son of Dooku. Zarpanitum. Agriculture god. Who's Zarpantum? Goddess of pregnancy. I don't know what that word means. Concert. Let's read. Majesty of the gods, clothed in radiant gods, worn high above his head. 5 fearsome rays were clustered above him. Anu created the 4 winds and gave them birth. Put them in Marduk's hand, my son. Let them create the 4 winds and gave them birth. Put them in Marduk's hand, my son. Let them play. He made the flood wave and stirred. My son, let them play. He made the flood wave and stirred up Tiamat. Stirred up and heavy and heaved restlessly day and night. The gods, unable to rest, had to stir up your belly on us, and we simply cannot sleep. Was your love up and visitor Mumu, who was captured? No wonder you sat alone. Are you not a mother? You heave restlessly, but what about us? Who heave restlessly, but what about us? Who cannot rest? Don't you love us? Our grip is slack and our eyes are sunken. Remove the yoke of us restless ones, and let us sleep. Set up a battle cry and avenge them. Conquer the enemy and reduce the yoke of us restless ones, and let us sleep. Set up a battle cry and avenge them. Conquer the enemy and reduce them. Tiamat listened, and the speech pleased her. Let us act now. Alright. It's written a little difficult because I don't really know who's Hapsu. I forget. It's so hard to remember. Let's see who Apsu was. He is... domain of sweet Homovia 7. He's and of the same husband of Tiamat. 7. He's and of the same husband of Tiamat, father of the primeval gods. They crowned round and rallied beside the door, groveling and rage, clothed ferocious dragons with fearsome rays, and made them bear mantles of radiance. Made them godlike, clothed ferocious dragons with fearsome rays, and made them bear mantles of radiance. Made them godlike. This imprecation. Whoever looks upon them shall utter terror. Their bodies shall rear up continually. She stationed a horned serpent, a Mushu dragon, and a Lamu hero. An Ugalu demon, a rabbit dog, and a scorpion man. Aggressive emu demons, fish man, and a bull man. Demons, fish man, and a bull man. bearing merciless weapons, fearless in battle. Let's see what notes 8 and 9 say. I think I've read those. That's Adunu. That's Adunu. Compare this list of Tiamat's monsters with those with Agum Kakraim adorned with doors of Marduk. Compare this list of Tiamat's monsters with those with Agum Kakraim adorned with doors of Marduk's temple. Yeah, okay. Combat troops. Overall, the whole battle force. I have cast the spell. I have cast the spell for you and made you greatest in the assembly. I have put into your power rule over all the gods. You shall be the greatest, for you are my only lover. Your destinies, and made him clasp it to his breast. Your utterance shall never be altered. Your word shall be altered. Your word shall be law. When King Gu was promoted and had received the Anu power, and had decreed destinies for the gods his from your mouth shall quench fire. Your accumulated venom shall paralyze the powerful. Tiamat assembled his creatures. Let's see what King Gu is. I don't know what that is. I've heard of this name before though. Is there a word for Tablet of Destinies in the glossary? Oh, there is. The cuneiform clay tablet on which fates were written. It gave successor, antecedent of the Book of Fate in the Book of Jubilees, and of the pre-Islamic and Islamic La al-Mahfaz preserved tablet on which the decrees of Allah were written. On which the decrees of Allah were written. Okay. Yeah. Kingu. Name of Tiamat's chosen battle leader, holder of the Tablet of Destinies, meaning of name unknown. Alright. Destinies, meaning of name unknown. Alright. Is there a King of the God glossary for this? Mesopotamian book. It says here Allah is what about Anu? What's Anu? I always forget which one's Anu. He's what about Anu? What's Anu? I always forget which one's Anu. He's God of Uruk. His vizier is the god Labrat or Eabrat, head of the older generation of gods, paired with Dagon. Head of the older generation of gods, paired with Dagon in connection with the status of cities, horn crown on the shrine. He's Anu is like sky, god of Uruk. Interesting. Skies above, written like its original and inspected, tablet of Nabu Balatsu. Skies above, written like its original and inspected, tablet of Nabu Balatsu. Ikbi, son of Naid Marduk. Hand of Nabu Balatsu. Ikbi, son of Naid Marduk. of Nabu Balatsu, Ikbi, son of Naid Marduk. Hand of Nabu Balatsu, Ikbi, son of Naid Marduk. That's the end of tablet 1. I don't get it. It's okay. Tablet number 2. Spouse of Apsu. Spouse of Apsu. Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Tiamat did even more and was dumbfounded and Set pondered, and his fury subsided and began to read. Father, Tiamat who bore us is rejecting us. She has convened in she filled the bodies with ferocious dragons with fierce on them shall collapse. Their bodies shall tear up. Kingu made him greatest among them. First leadership, command of the assembly, the signal and overall command of the holy, the signal and overall command of the whole battle. Him upon a throne. I have cast a spell for you and made you greatest in the gods' assembly. I have put into you prevail over all the Anunnaki. She gave him the tablet of death. Prevail over all the Anunnaki. She gave him the tablet of destinies and it shall never be altered. When Kingu was paralyzed the powerful, Anshar listened, and the report was very disturbing. Whoa! He cried. He bit his lip. His liver was inflamed. His belly would not rest. His roar to Ea, his son, was quite weak. My son, you who started the fight, you remain responsible for what you have done. You went and slew Apsu and Tiamat, whom you enraged. Where else is an opponent for her? Despairing of advice, the prince of good sense, creator of divine wisdom, Nudimad, with soothing speech, words of appeasement, he answered Anshar, his father, solely, nicely. Father, you are the unfathomable fixer of fates. The power to create and to destroy is yours. Anshar, you are the unfathomable fixer of fates. The power to create and destroy is yours. For the moment, stay quiet at the words I shall tell you. Bear in mind what a good thing I did. Before I slew out, before I can rush up and extinguish him, he will surely have destroyed me. Then what? Anshar listened, and the speech pleased him. His heart prompted him to speak to Ea. What's Ea? What's Anshar? Anshar is not even on the glossary. But Ea, I think, is like god of fresh water. Lived in the Apsu. Alright. Also known as Nudimad, which is a creator god with function as a creator god. My son, your deeds were highly commendable. You can make a strike fierce, unbeatable. Ea, your deeds were highly commendable. You can make a strike fierce, unbeatable. but go towards Tiamat, soothe her uprising, may her fury abate at your spell. He listened to the words of his father Anshar. He took the road and went straight on his way. Ea went, he searched for Tiamat's strategy, but then stayed silent and turned back. He entered into the presence of the ruler Anshar. In supplication he addressed him. My father, Tiamat's actions were too much for me. I searched for her course, but my spell was not equal to her. Her strength is mighty. She is completely terrifying. Her crowd is too powerful. Nobody could defy her. Her noise never lessens. It was too loud for me. I feared her shout and I turned back. But father, you must not relax. You must send someone else to her. However strong a woman's strength, it is not equal to a man's. You must disband her regiments, confuse her advice before she can impose her power on us. For the rest of this episode, see Supplement 4, page 342. Supplement 4. This is the last page of the book. Anshar shouted furiously. He addressed Anu, his son. Steadfast son, heroic Kasusu weapon, whose strength is mighty, whose attack is unfaceable. Go against Tiamat and stand your ground. Let her anger abate. Let her fury be quelled. If she will not listen to your word, speak words of supplication to her, that she may be calmed. It says go read note 10. It's lubus lupus. It's an alliteration, whatever that means. He listened to the words of his father Anshar. He took the road. And went straight on his way. He searched for Tiamat's strategy, but then stayed silent and turned back. He entered into the presence of the ruler Anshar. In supplication he addressed him. My father, her actions were too much for me. I searched for her course, but my spell was not equal to her. Her strength is mighty. She is completely terrifying. Her crowd is too powerful. Nobody could defy her. Her noise never lessens. It was too loud for me. I feared her never lessens. It was too loud for me. I feared her shout and I turned back. But father, you must not relax. You must send someone else to her. However strong a woman's strength, it is not equal to a man's. You must not disband her regiments. Confuse her advice before she can impose her power over us. Anshar was speechless and stared at the ground. He gnashed his teeth and shook his head in despair at Ea. Now the Igigi assembled, all the Anunnaki. They sat silently for a while, tight-lipped. Finally, they spoke. Will no other god come forward? Is fate fixed? Will no one go out and to face Tiamat with? Then Ea from his secret dwelling called, the perfect one of Anshar, father of the great gods, whose heart is perfect like a fellow citizen or countryman, the mighty heir who was to be his father's champion, who rushes fearlessly into battle, Marduk the hero. He told him his innermost design, saying, O Marduk, take my advice, listen to your father. You are the son who sets his heart at rest. Approach Anshar, drawing near to him, and make your voice heard. Stand your ground. He will be calm by the side of you. It says read note 11. It has been suggested that Emaruku, translated here by the side of you, is a name of Tiamat elsewhere, unattested in Akkadian or Sumerian, corresponding to Omorka in Beros's Babyloniaca, but Tiamat would be quite out of place in this sentence. The Lord rejoiced at the word of his father, and he approached and stood before Anshar. Anshar looked at him, and his heart was filled with joy. He kissed him on the lips, put away his trepidation. Then Marduk addressed them, saying, Father, don't stay so silent. Open your lips. Let me go and let me fulfill your heart's desire. Anshar, don't stay so silent. Open your lips. Let me go and let me fulfill your heart's desire. Anshar replied, What kind of man has ordered you out to his war? My son, don't you realize that it is Tiamat of womankind who will advance against you with arms? Marduk answered, Father, my creator, rejoice and be glad. You shall soon set your foot upon the neck of Tiamat. Anshar, my creator, rejoice and be glad. You shall soon set your foot upon the neck of Tiamat. Anshar replied, Then go, son, knowing all wisdom. Quell Tiamat with your pure spell. Set forth in me. His heart was glad, and he addressed his father. Lord of the gods, fate of the great gods, fate of the great gods, if indeed I am to be your champion, if I am able to defeat Tiamat and save your lives, convene the council, name a special fate, sit. If I am able to defeat Tiamat and save your lives, convene the council, name a special fate, sit joyfully together in Ubshu, in Ubshu, Ukinaku. My own utterance shall the decree of my lips shall never change. Anshar made his voice heard. Second tablet. When skies of blood. Tablet number 3 of the Epic of Creation from Myths of Mesopotamia by Oxford World Classics. I have maybe 70, 80 pages left of the book. Let me charge my phone. Turkey legs. My sister wants turkey legs. Tablet number 3. Anshar made his voice heard and addressed his speech to Kaka, his vizier. Anshar made his voice heard and addressed his speech to Kaka, his vizier. O Kaka, vizier who pleases me. O Kaka, vizier who pleases me. I shall send you to Lamu and Lamu. You know how. Let there be conversation. Let them sit at a banquet. Let them eat grain. Let them drink choice wine. And then let them decree a destiny for Marduk, their champion. Set off, Kaka. Go and stand before them, and everything that I am about to tell you, repeat to them. Fuck, I don't want to repeat this shit. But let's do it! For Mesopotamia! For the fourth Mesopotamia! For the 4,000-year-old book! Let's repeat it! Although it's not the best book ever, to be honest. Anshar, your son has sent me. He has told me to report his heart's message, to say, Tiamat, who bore us in rejecting us, she has convened a council and is raging out of control. The gods have turned to her, all of them. Even those whom out of control. The gods have turned to her, all of them. Even those whom you bound over to her side have crowded round and rallied beside Tiamat. They are fierce, scheming, restlessly night and day. They are working up to go to war, groveling and raging. They convened a council and created conflict. Hold on, I hear something. All right. and created conflict. Mother huge and unsparing of fan. She filled their bloods with venom instead of blood. Bodies. She cloaked ferocious dragons with fear instead of blood. Bodies. She cloaked ferocious dragons with fearsome rays. Made them bear mantles of radiance. Made them godlike. Whoever looks upon them shall collapse in utter terror. Their bodies shall rear up continually and never turn away. She stationed a horned serpent, a Mushusu dragon, and Lamu hero, an Ugalu demon, a rabid dog, and a scorpion man. Aggressive Umu demons, a fish man and a bull man, bearing merciless weapons, fearless in battle. Her orders were so powerful they could not be disobeyed. In addition, she created 11 more likewise. Over the gods, her offspring, who had convened a council for her, she promoted Kingu, made him greatest among them, conferred upon overall command upon the throne. I have cast a spell you greatest in the gods' assembly. I have put into your power to rule over all gods. You should great. You are my overall command upon the throne. I have cast a spell you greatest in the gods' assembly. I have put into your power to rule over all gods. You should great. You are my only lover. Your command shall always prevail over all the Anunnaki. She gave him the tablet of destiny to his breast. Word shall be law. When Kingu was promoted and had received the Anu power, Anu had decreed destinies for the gods, her sons. He said, "What issues forth from your mouth shall quench fire. Your accumulated venom shall paralyze the powerful." Let's see notes 11 and 12. The variant Anutu power of the N priesthood puns with Anutu Anu power. The pun presumably applies also to other occurrences of this line. I sent Anu, but he was unable to face her. Nudimat panicked and turned back. Then Marduk, sage of the gods, your son, came forward. He wanted of his own free will to confront Tiamat. He addressed his words to me. If indeed I am to be your champion, to defeat Tiamat and save your lives, convene the council, name a special fate, sit joyfully together in Ubshu Ukinaku, and let me my own utterance fix fate instead of you. Whatever I create shall never be altered. Let a decree from my lips never be revoked, never changed. Hurry and decree your destiny for him quickly, so that he may go and face your formidable enemy. Kaka set off and went on his way. And before Lamu, the god of his fathers, prostrated himself and kissed the earth in front of them. Then straightened up and stood and spoke to them. Anshar, your son has sent me. He has told me to report his personal message to say, Tiamat, who bore us in rejecting us. She has convened a council and is raging out of control. Even those whom you begot have gone over to her side, have crowded round and rallied beside Tiamat, fierce, scheming restlessly night and day, working up to war, groveling and raging. They have convened a council and created conflict. Mother Huber, who fashions all things, contributed an unfaceable weapon. She bore giant snakes, sharp of tooth and unsparing of fang. She filled their bodies with venom instead of blood. She clothed ferocious dragons with fearsome rays, and them, whoever looks upon them shall collapse in utter terror. And the Lamu hero, Ugalu demons, rabid dogs, and a scorpion man, aggressive Emu demons, a fish man, bearing merciless weapons, fearless in battle. Her orders were so powerful they could not be obeyed. In addition, she created 11 more likewise over the gods, her offspring, who had convened a council for her. She promoted Kingu, made him greatest among them, conferred upon him leadership of the army, command of the assembly, raising the weapon to signal engagement, to rise up all combat, overall command of the whole battle force. And she set him upon a throne. I have cast a spell for you, and have made you greatest in the gods' assembly. I have put into your power over all the gods. You shall be the greatest, for you are my only lover. Your command shall always prevail over all the Anunnaki. She gave him the tablet of destinies and made him clasp it to his breast. Your utterance shall never be altered. Your word shall be law. When Kingu was promoted and had received the Anu power and had decreed destinies for the gods, her sons, he said, what issues forth from your mouth shall quench fire. Your accumulated venom shall paralyze the powerful. I sent Anu, but he was unable to face her. Nudimmud panicked and turned back. Then Marduk, sage of the gods, your son, came forward. He wanted of his own free will to confront Tiamat. He spoke his words to me. If indeed I am to be your champion, to defeat Tiamat and save your lives, convene the council, name a special fate, sit joyfully together in Abshu Ukinaku, and let me, my own utterance, fix fate instead of you. Whatever I create shall never be altered. Let a decree from my lips never be revoked, never changed. Hurry and decree your destinies for him quickly, so that he may go and face your formidable enemy. Lamu and Lamu listened and cried out loud. All the Igigi then groaned dreadfully. How terrible! Until he, this Anshar, decided to report to us. We did not even know what Tiamat was doing. They milled around and then came. All the great gods who fixed the fights entered into Anshar's presence and were filled with joy. Each kissed the other in the assembly. There was conversation. They sat at the banquet, ate grain, drank choice wine, let sweet beer trickle through their drinking straws. Their bodies swelled as they drank the liquor. They became very carefree. They were merry. And they decreed destiny for Marduk, their champion. They founded a princely shrine for him. Tablet number 4. Tablet 3 was the same as tablet 2. Obviously, there's a lot of tell him I said this. There's a lot of owl shit going on in this book. So this is a redundant story. Redundant. Tablet 4. They founded a princely shrine for him, and he took up the residence as ruler before his fathers, who proclaimed, you are honored among the great gods. Your destiny is unequaled. Your word has the power of Anu. O Marduk, you are honored among the great gods. Your destiny is unequaled. Your word has the power unequaled. Your word has the power of Anu. From this day onwards, your command shall not be altered. Yours is the power to exalt and abuse. May your utterance be law. Your word never be falsified. None of the gods shall transgress your limits. Now, okay, what's note 13 say? It says, alliteration is ituka la itik. May endowment require for the gods' shrines whenever they have temples be established for your place. O Marduk, you are our champion. We hereby give you sovereignty over all of the whole universe. Sit in the assembly and your word shall be preeminent. Sit in the assembly and your word shall be preeminent. May your weapons never miss the mark. May they smash your enemies. O Lord, spare the life of him who trusts in you, but drain the life of the God who has espoused evil. It says go read note 14. Note 14 says, Marduk's title, Lord, Bel, equals same as that used for Ninurta in standard Babylonian version of Anzu. They set up in their midst one constellation, and when they addressed Marduk their son, may your decree, O Lord, impress the gods. Command to destroy and to recreate, and let it be so. Speak and let the constellation vanish. Speak to it again and let the and the constellation was recreated. It says, read note 15, which says, constellation, which is Lumasu, was previously misread as garment, Lubasu. The cuneiform signs Ba and Ma are often very hard to distinguish. Interesting. When the gods, his fathers, saw how effective his utterance was, they rejoined, they proclaimed, Marduk is king. They invested him with the sceptered throne and staff of office. They gave him an unfaceable weapon to crush the foe. Go and cut off the life of Tiamat. Let the winds bear her blood to us as good news. It says, read note 16. Compare note 15 to Andu. The phrase is identical here. Alright. The gods of his father thus decreed the destiny of the Lord, and set him on the path of peace and obedience. He fashioned a bow, designated it as his weapon, feathered the arrow, set it to the string. He lifted up a mace and carried it in his right hand, slung the bow and quiver at his side, put lightning in front of him. His body was filled with an ever-blazing flame. He made a net to encircle Tiamat within it. The battle has begun, baby! Within it. The battle has begun, baby! Marshaled the four winds so that no part of her could escape. South wind, north wind, east wind, west wind. The gift of his father Anu. He kept them close to the net at his side. He created the Inulu wind, evil wind, the tempest, the whirlwind, the four winds, the seven winds, the tornado, the unfaceable facing wind. He released the winds which he had created. All seven of them attacked Tiamat! That's what he said, dog. Let's go read note 17. Note 17 says, apparently, evil wind is an explanatory gloss of Imulu, a Sumerian loanword, and seems quite unnecessary. Interesting. They advanced behind him to make turmoil inside Tiamat. I can't believe the storm chariot. He had yoked to it a team of four and had her harnessed to its side. Slayer, pitiless, racer, Slayer, pitiless, racer, and flyer. Their lips were drawn back, their teeth carried poison. What's going on? I don't understand the writing. They know not exhaustion. They can only devastate. He stationed on his right, fearsome fight and conflict. On the left, his head was crowned with a terrible radiance. Note number 18 says, note number 18 says, it's ALP in the four words of design to standard Babylonian version, Gilgamesh. The Lord set out and took the road and set his face towards Tiamat, who raged out of control. In his about him, the gods thronged about him. The gods, his father, thronged about him. The gods thronged about him. The Lord drew near and looked into the middle of Tiamat. He was trying to find out the strategy of Kingu, her lover. It says, read note number 19. Middle battle force, both Akkadian and Kablu. As he looked, his mind became confused. His will crumbled and his actions were muddled. As for the gods, his helpers who marched at his side, when they saw the warrior, the leader, their looks were strained. Read notes 20 and 21. It looks like he's losing. King Boo rather than Marduk. As in the subject. 21. Sennacherib's inscription describing a scene from the epic as depicted on the doors of his temple of the New Year's festival makes it clear that the gods accompany Ashur into battle in the Assyrian version. A picture of Ashur who goes inside Tiamat for battle, how he raises the bow in the chariot that he rides, the flood weapon with which he is entrusted. Amuru who rides with him as rein holder. The gods march in front of him and march behind him. Those who ride in a vehicle. Those who march on foot and march behind him. Those who ride in a vehicle. Those who march on foot, and how those in front of Ashur are arrayed, and how those behind Ashur are arrayed. Tiamat and the creatures of her insides, against whom Ashur, king of the gods, marches to battle. A picture of Sennacherib, king of Assyria, the gods Sharu, Shargaz, Kaka, Nusku, Madanu, Trishpak, Ninurta of the wall, Kubu, Haya, Sabiti. These are the gods who march in front of Ashur. Molisu, Sharua, Sin, Nikal, Shamash, Aya, Kipat Mati, Unu, Antu, Adad, Shala, Edan, Iya, Damkina, Bele Ili, Ninurta. These are the gods who march behind Ashur. The conquering weapons are positioned in Ashur's chariot. Woo! It's a fucking war, baby! It's a war going on! The gods of Mesopotamia versus Tiamat! This is getting crazy. It's literally 20 fucking gods versus Tiamat and her monsters. Bro, this is epic. This is 4,000 years old. Gilgamesh is a better character story. But this is a better action. This is the best action story in the whole book. Apsu or Anzu. That story was really good. I really like the story of Anzu. Itana was cool too. There's a lot of good stories in here, bro. Tiamat cast her spell. She did not even turn her neck. In her lips she was holding falsehood, lies, wheedling. How powerful is your attacking force, O Lord of the gods? The place assembly of them has gathered to your place. But he ignored her blandishments. Note number 22 says, whatever. The Lord lifted up the flood weapon, his great weapon, and sent a message to Tiamat, who feigned goodwill, saying, "Why are you so friendly on the surface when your depths conspire to muster a battle force? Just because the sons were noisy and disrespectful to their fathers, should you who gave them birth reject compassion? You named Kingu as your lover. You appointed him to the rights of Anu power, wrongfully his. You sought out evil for Anshar, king of the gods, so you have compounded your wickedness against the gods of my fathers. Let your host prepare. Let them gird themselves with your weapons. Stand forth, and you and I shall do single combat." Note 23. A close parallel with the pair of lines is found in an inscription of Ashurbanipal. When Tiamat heard this, she went wild. She lost her temper. Tiamat screamed aloud in a passion. Her lower parts shook together from the depths. She recited the incantation and kept casting her spell. Meanwhile, the gods of battle were sharpening their weapons. Face to face they came, Tiamat and Marduk, sage of the gods. They enraged in combat. They closed for battle. The Lord spread his nets and made it encircle her. To her face, he dispatched the Imulu wind, which had been behind. Tiamat opened her mouth to swallow it. And he forced in the Imulu wind so that she could not close her lips. Fierce winds distended her belly. Her insides were constipated and she stretched her mouth wide. He shot an arrow which pierced her belly, split her down the middle and slit her heart, vanquished her and extinguished her life. He threw down her corpse and stood on top of her. Yo! When he had slain Tiamat the leader, he broke up her regiments. Her assembly was scattered. Then the gods, her helpers, who had marched at her side, began to tremble, panicked, and turn tail. Although he allowed them to come out and spare their lives, they were surrounded. They could not flee. Then he tied them up and smashed their weapons. They were thrown into the net and sat there ensnared. They cowered back, filled with woe. They had to bear his punishment, confined to prison. And as for the dozens of creatures covered in fearsome rays, trampled their brattle filth beneath them. As for Kingu, who had trampled their brattle filth beneath them. As for Kingu, who had once been the greatest among them, he defeated, counted him among the dead gods, wrested from him the tablet of destinies wrongfully his, sealed it with his own seal, and pressed it to his chest. Woo! Marduk, 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 wielder of the table of destinies. Let's go read notes 23 and 24 now. Let's go read notes 23 and 24 now. The precise implication of dead gods is uncertain. Play on the words in alliteration simati la simati. Play on the words in alliteration simati la simati. Pleasant and favorable wind in ancient Mesopotamian as Egypt. But we read sci-fi opera, which will be the longest book I ever read in my life. Sci-fi opera, which will be the longest book I ever read in my life. I ever read in my life. Lord Apsu, large Ala, which he built in its image, was Eshara. In the great shrine of Eshara, which he had created as the sky, he founded cult centers for Anu. In the great shrine of Eshara, which he had created as the sky, he founded cult centers for Anu, Elil, and Ea. Centers for Anu, Elil, and Ea. He fashioned stands for the great gods. 146 lines, 4th. For the life of himself and the life of his house, and deposited it in Ezida. Then we'll be continuing the story. Let's see if I could find a definition for Ezida. Find a definition for Ezida. is a great shot. Ezida is do they have a word for Nabu Belshu? What's Eridu? Very ancient city off the shore of the Arabian Gulf, cult center of Ea, also the name of a quarter of Babylon. Nabu Belshu is God. It says Nabu is the god of writing. Nergal is Lord of Urkala, the great city. Lord of Urkala, the great city, chief god of the underworld, consort of Ereshkigal. Let's move on to tablet 5. He fashioned and took it and presented it for a first reading to Anu. Let's go read 32. The word Imu means eyes and springs. 32 Anu Uriah, the logogram is ambiguous. Whom he had ensnared with Mahakri, smashed their weapons and tied them at his feet, made images of Apsu. Let's read through. This may lead to the declaration of Erdu, or alternatively will never in the future be forgotten. Gods looked and their who had brought his greetings present as good news. To be vizier of the Apsu, to take care of shrine, who had brought his greetings present as good news. To be vizier of the Apsu, to take care of shrines. The Gi assembled in Albi said, the Anunnaki, each and every one kissed his feet. What is that word? Oh. I don't know if you can hear me. But my thing is not working. Is an act obeisance. Is an act usually physical, showing dutiful obedience? All right, I thought that. All right, I gotta verify this puzzle. Look at my beautiful cat. Sorry, I was looking at something in Google. She wants me to pet her. Oh my god. She finally loves me. Finally. Hi, Moondust. It's nice to see you, baby. I love her. She's like purring. Should I make her into a fat cat? Aww. I want her to live long and healthy though. She's gonna be my healthy cat. Moondash, I love you. You're my little cat. Let's continue. The Anunnaki, each and every one, kissed his feet. The whole assembly collected together to prostrate themselves. They stood, they bowed. Yes, king indeed. His fathers took their fill of his manliness. They took off his clothes, which were enveloped in the dust of combat. The gods were attentive to him. With cypress they sprinkled his body. He put on a princely garment, a royal aura, a splendid crown. He took up a mace and grasped it in his right hand. His left hand he set a Mushusu dragon at his feet. Placed upon, slung the staff of peace. His left hand he set a Mushusu dragon at his feet. Placed upon, slung the staff of peace and obedience at his side. The mantle of radiance and his net was holding fearful Apsu, a bowl, in the inner chamber of his throne, in the cellar. The gods, all that existed, Lamu and Lamu, spoke to the Igigi. Previously, Marduk was just our beloved son, and now he is your king. Take heed of his command. Now they spoke and proclaimed in unison, Lugal-Dimur Ankia is his name. Trust in him. It says, go read note 34. Lugal-Dimur Ankia, Sumerian for king of the gods of heaven and earth. Damn. Marduk, Marduk, Marduk. Marduk is a band. Marduk had a great battle with Tiamat. That's crazy. That's so dope. I'm looking at these Google pictures and they're so cool. Oh, Moondust. Do you want some attention, baby? You're adorable. Alright, let's continue. When they gave kingship to Marduk, they spoke an oration for him, for blessing and obedience. Henceforth you shall be the provider of shrines for us. Whatever your command, we shall perform ourselves. Marduk made his voice heard and spoke, addressed his words to the gods, his fathers. Over the Apsu, the sea-green dwelling, in front of Eshara, which I created for you, where I strengthened the ground beneath it for a shrine, I shall make a house to be a luxurious dwelling for myself. And shall found his cult center within it, and I shall establish my private quarters and confirm my kingship. Whenever you come up from the Apsu for an assembly, your night's resting place shall be in it, receiving you all. Whenever you come down from the sky for an assembly, your night's resting place shall be in it, receiving you all. I hereby name it Babylon, home of the great gods, center of religion. The gods, his fathers, listen to this command of his. Who has your more than you by yourself have created? Who has your more earth than you by yourself have created? Babylon, whose name you have just pronounced. Found there our night's resting place forever. Let them bring our regular offerings. Whatever our work there, his toil. They rejoiced. The gods them who knows them light. He made his voice heard, his command. Them, who knows them light. He made his voice heard, his command. Command, gave long life, the mantle of radiance, the mace and staff, all the lore of sages. We, king of Assyria. And then now we'll be moving on to tablet number king of Assyria. And then now we'll be moving on to tablet number 6. No idea what else we could honestly be talking about. Moon does. We are gonna talk about. I think there's only 2 more tablets. Oh, this is actually the last one. No, there's 2 more. Yeah, this one more. That's it. Yeah. Wow, these are the Gilgamesh tablets. They look crazy. Oh wow. Huh. Dream tablet, the poem. Tablet number 6. When Marduk heard the speech of the gods, he made up his mind to perform miracles. He spoke to his utterance to Ea and communicated to him the plan that he was considering. Let me put blood together and make bones. Let me set up primordial man shall be his name. Oh, this is the. Let me put blood together and make bones. Let me set up primordial man shall be his name. Oh, this is the creation of humans. Let them be surrendered up. Let him be destroyed and let people be created from him. Let the great gods assemble. Let the culprit be given up and let them convict them. Marduk assembled the great gods, gave them instructions, pleasantly gave orders. The gods paid attention to what he said. The king addressed his words to the Anunnaki. Your election of me shall be firm and foremost. I shall declare the laws. I shall declare the law, the ethics within my power. Now, O Lord, that you have set us free, what are our favors from you? We would like to make a shrine with his own name. We would like our next resting place to be in your private quarters and to rest there. Let its mud bricks be molded and build high the shrine. The Anunnaki began shoveling. For a whole year they made bricks for it. When the second year arrived, let its mud bricks be molded and build high the shrine. The Anunnaki began shoveling. For a whole year they made bricks for it. When the second year arrived, they had raised the top of Esagila in front of the Apsu. They had built a high ziggurat for the Apsu. They founded a dwelling for Anu, Enlil, and Ea likewise. His horns looked down at the base of Ishara. When they had done the work of Esagila and the Anunnaki, all of them had fashioned their individual shrines. The 300 Igigi of heaven and the Anunnaki of the Apsu all assembled. What's note 37? Perhaps the pinnacles are a reference to the crown with bulls, horns, which all gods wore. All right. The Lord invited the gods, his fathers, to attend a banquet in the great sanctuary which he had created as his dwelling. Indeed, Bab-Eli is your home too. Sing for joy there, dwell in happiness. Note number 38. Western phonetically, which is unusual, perhaps emphasizing its secondary etymology as gate of God. Made merry, they themselves made a takrib and splendid esagila. What's esagila? The temple for Marduk. The temple for Marduk. Were fixed. God's body is cold. It's wiping down in front of destruction, and his that he had done. And the seventh tablet of an otherwise unattested myth, Gera and Elementum, which bears some close resemblances to this epic and to Anzu. He gave to the bow her name, saying, "May long and fair be the first, glorious the second. Her name shall be boast of for she shall shine in the sky." He fixed her positions among the gods, her companions. He gave to the bow her name, saying, "May long and fair be the first, glorious the second. Her name shall be boast of for she shall shine in the sky." He fixed her positions among the gods, her companions. When Anu had decreed the destiny of the bow, he set down her royal throne. You are highest of the gods. And Anu made her sit in the assembly of gods. The great gods assembled and made Marduk's destiny highest. They themselves did obeisance. They swore an oath for themselves and swore on water and oil, touched their throats. Thus they granted that he should exercise the kingship of the gods and confirm for him mastery of the gods of heaven and earth. This gesture is attested as accompanying treaty oaths in the Old Babylonian period. Anshar gave him another name, Asar-Lui. At the mention of his name, we shall bow down. The gods are to pay heed to what he says. His command is to the son who avenged us shall be the highest. His rule shall have priority. Let him have no rival. Let him act as shepherd over the black-headed people, his creation. Let his way be proclaimed in future days, never forgotten. He shall establish great Nindabu offerings for his fathers. He shall take care of them. He shall look after their shrines. He shall let them smell the Q-Trinu offering and make their chant joyful. Let him breathe on earth as freely as he always does in heaven. Let him designate the black-headed people to revere him. That mankind may be mindful of him and name him as their God. Let their interceding goddess pay attention when he opens his mouth. Let Nindabu offerings be brought to their God and their goddess. Let them never be forgotten. Let them cleave to their God. Let them keep their country preeminent and always build shrines. Though the black-headed people share out the gods, as for us, no matter by which name we call him, he shall be our God. Come, let us call him by his 50 names. His ways shall be proclaimed, and his deeds likewise. Marduk, whose father Anu designated him at the moment of his birth to be once with his flood weapon and save the gods, his fathers, from hardship. What is the word riotous? Someone committing riots, right? Marked by involving public riotous is the word riotous. Someone committing riots, right? Marked by involving public riotous. Riotous. And what is that word? Preeminent, always build shrine. In public riotous. And what is that word? Preeminent, always build shrine. Black-headed, let them be 50 names. Pasturage. Is that like a place where babies are born? Land used for pasture. Oh. Alright. Let the sun, majesty, and his bright light may they walk forevermore. The people can create life that breathes. He imposed the work of the gods on them so that they might rest. Creation and abolition. Creation and abolition. Forgiveness and punishment. Such are at his disposal, so let them look at him. Maruka, he is the God who created them. He pleases the Anunnaki and gives rest to the Igigi. Disposal, so let them look at him. Maruka, he is the God who created them. He pleases the Anunnaki and gives rest to the Igigi. Marutuku, he is the help of the country, city, and his people. Him shall the people revere forever. Mershakushu, fierce yet considerate, furious yet merciful. Note 43. Mershakashu, whatever, was previously read as Agashuadalu. What? Agashadulu. Generous in his heart, controlled are his emotions. Lugal Dimer Ankia, his name which we gave him in our assembly. We made his command higher than the gods' assembly. We made his command higher than the gods his fathers. He is indeed Bel of the gods of heaven and earth, all of them. The king at whose instruction the gods are awed above and below. Narl Lugal Dimmer Ankia is a name that we have given him as director of all the gods, who founded our dwellings in heaven and earth out of difficulties, and who shared out the stations for the Igigi and Anunnaki. At his names may the gods tremble and quake in their dwellings. Asar Lui, first, is his name which his father Anu gave him. He shall be the light of the gods, strong leader, who like his name is the protecting spirit of God and country. He spared our dwellings in the great battle despite difficulties. Second, they called him Asar Lui as Namtilla, the God who gives life, who restored all the damaged gods as if they were his own creation. The people of Enlil in Babylon as... Hey! Stop! Perhaps this refers to the repair and restoration of divine statues in the workshops of Eshagila, but there may also be an allusion to a feat of Ninurta. Bel, who revives dead gods with his pure incantation, who destroys those who oppose him, but S, the enemy. Asar Lui third, as Namru, whose name was given thus, the pure God who purifies our path. There is play on various forms and secondary etymologies of the name of Elil, El, pure, and Mulilu, the Sumerian Emesal dialect form of Elil's name. Anshar, Lamu, and Lamu called his three names. They pronounced them to the gods their sons. We have given him each of these 3 names. Now you pronounce his names as we did. The gods rejoiced and obeyed their command. In Abshu Ukinaku, they deliberated their council. Let us elevate the name of the sun, the warrior, our champion who looks after us. They sat in their assembly and began to call out the destinies, pronounced his name in all their rights. Aser, bestower of plowland, who fixes its boundaries. And then we make it to the final tablet in the Epic of Creation, tablet number 7. This is the last one, and we're gonna call it. We're gonna end the recording. Yeah, it's not long. It's like 10 pages, and then we'll start the recording on the theology of Dunu, and then hopefully we can also read Era and Issue, and after that, it's over. We finish the book after that. Finally, this was a little tough. I can't believe I read Gilgamesh. So cool. Epic of Creation, Mesopotamia. Wow. What a crazy story. What a crazy story. Anyway, 67. I want to work. I have to go to the gym. I have to go to the gym. Unfortunately, I don't want to go to the gym, bro. I don't want to, but I'll live longer, so I have to. And I don't want to die. Dying is scary. But we're gonna finish the Epic of Creation. It looks like we did it in one sitting, which is dope. Let's read it. Tablet number 7. Aser, bestower of plowland, who fixes its boundaries, creator of grain and linseed, producer of vegetation. It says read note 47. It is not possible to give an accurate translation or explanation for many of the following titles of Marduk. In some cases, Aser, Tutu, Ebilulu, and Adu, he is assimilated with venerable deities whose independent existence is attested. In other cases, the titles appear to be epithets which describe various aspects of his power. They are occasionally paraphrased and elaborated in the Akkadian description, which follows each title, but often the elaboration consists largely of an esoteric play on words and logograms that is impossible to convey in English, even when it is understood, and which can hardly have been meaningful in spoken form. The most comprehensive discussion is by Botero, who uses an ancient erudite commentary of extreme brevity to help explain the riddle-like complexities of the text. All right, I guess. So it's a word that they understood, but we can't? I guess. Asar Alim, whose weighty counsel in the chamber of council is most valued. The gods, even those who know no fear, pay who directs the orders of Anu, Elil, Ea, and Damkina. He indeed is their provider who allocates their incomes, whose farmland makes a surplus for the country. He is Tutu, as creator of their renewal. He shall purify their shrines, and they may stay at rest. Is Tutu in the glossary? Name of the Sumerian creator god? Wow. And how many Let's find out. How many creator gods in Mesopotamia? 4 creator gods. Because they're forces of nature. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, let's continue. He shall purify their shrines, and they may stay at rest. He shall invent an incantation that the gods may be at peace. Even if they should rise up in anger, he shall turn them back. He shall be preeminent in the assembly of the gods his fathers. None among the gods shall rival him. He is Tutu, as Ziukina, the inspiration of his people, who fixed pure skies for the gods, who set their ways and marked out their stations. Note number 48 says, the verb fixed ukinu puns on the second element of the epithet okina. Alright. May he not be forgotten by teeming humanity. May they uphold his work. Note number 49. The word teeming, apati, used to be translated be clouded owing to an incorrect etymology. Thirdly, they named him Tutu as Ziku, upholder of purification, the god of sweet breath, lord of obedience and consent, producer of riches and abundance, who maintains a surplus, who turns whatever is scant into plenty. Even in the worst hardship, we can smell his sweet breath. May they speak in worship and sing his praises. Fourthly, let the people glorify Tutu as Agaku, lord of the pure incantation, who revives Tutu as Agaku, lord of the pure incantation, who revives the dying, who showed mercy even to the captured gods, who removed the yoke imposed upon the gods his enemies, who created mankind to set them free, the merciful one who has the power to gods, who removed the yoke imposed upon the gods his enemies, who created mankind to set them free, the merciful one who has the power to give life. His word shall never be forgotten in the mouth of the black-headed people whom he created with his own hands. Fifthly, let their mouths show forth Tutu as Tuku, whose spell is pure, who uprooted all the wicked and his pure incantation. He is Shazu, aware of the god's intentions, who can see emotions, who does not allow evildoers to escape him, establisher of the god's assembly, gratifier of their wishes, who makes the arrogant kneel beneath his wide canopy, director of justice, who plucks out crooked speech in whose place lies canopy, director of justice, who plucks out crooked speech in whose place lies winds, extinguishing all the wicked wherever they may be. May the gods always proclaim the triumph in the assembly. Fourthly, the Shazu as Shugurim, responsible for the obedience of the gods his fathers, uprooter of the foe, destroyer of their offspring, dispeller of their works, who left no trace of them. Let his name be proclaimed and spoken in the of the foe, destroyer of their offspring, dispeller of their works, who left no trace of them. Let his name be proclaimed and spoken in the land. Fifthly, let future generations consider Shazu as Zarim, their enricher, and Belulu, yeah. Their deity is mighty, responsible for sacrificial omens, who looks after pasturage and watering places, establishes them for the land, who opens up wells and apportions the waters of abundance. Note number 50 says, wells, barati, or irrigated land. Barati, or irrigated land, meritati, B and meet are both readings of a single sign. Secondly, let them address Belulu as Epadon, lord of the countryside and canal controller of heaven and earth, establisher of the furrow, who maintains pure plowland in the countryside, who directs ditches and canals and marks out the furrows. Thirdly, let them praise Enbilulu as Guga, canal controller of the gods' irrigated land. Lord of abundance and the luxuriance of great grain piles, responsible for riches, give surplus to give cereals, producer of grain. Fourthly, he is Enbilulu as Hegal, abundance, who heaps up a surplus for people, who brings rain of abundance over the broad earth and makes vegetation abundance, who heaps up a surplus for people, who brings rain of abundance over the broad earth and makes vegetation grow profusely. He is Surser, who piled a mountain over Tiamat, and took us booty, the corpse of Tiamat, by his force of arms. Governor of the land, the righteous shepherd, mountain over Tiamat, and took us booty, the corpse of Tiamat, by his force of arms. Governor of the land, the righteous shepherd, who uses our cultivation, garden plots, and plowland, who weighed his fury, like a tore out flood waves and controlled snows, and built the earth above the water, established the heights. He is Zulum, who designed fields for the gods and divided up what he had created, bestower of incomes and food offerings, supplier of shrines. He is Mumu, fashioner of heaven and earth, director of the God who purifies heaven and earth. Secondly, as Zulum Umu, whom no other God, Lord of all lords, whose might is supreme, who is gods, his brothers, of them all. Lugal Derma, king, bond of gods, lord of the cosmic bond, who is greatest in the royal abode, highest of the gods by far. Ara Nuna, counselor of Ea, creator of the gods, his fathers, whom no god equals in his princely way. Dumu Duku, whose pure dwelling is marked out for him on the holy mound. Dumu Duku, without whom king, whose might is supreme among the gods. Lord, might of Anu, who is preeminent as the namesake of Anshar. Iruga, who took them all captive from inside Tiamat, who unites all wisdom and is broad of understanding. Ir Kingu, who took Kingu captive as foe in battle, who administers decrees for everything, who confirms supremacy. Kinma, director of all the gods, giver of counsel, at whose name the gods themselves quake in fear as in a tempest. As Is, Sizkur, he shall sit highest in the house of prayer, and the gods shall bring him their presence before him. As long as he accepts revenue, and the gods shall bring him their presence before him. As long as he accepts revenues from them, none may perform decent lines. No other god need the revenues of his own creation without him, nor decisions about their own creation without him, nor decisions about their lifetimes. Gibil, who established who be his name, let him cover all the sky. And sky means is under. This is the only assimilation of Marduk with the major god of the late Bronze Age Iron. This is the only assimilation of Marduk with the major god of the late Bronze Age Iron Pantheon, as distinct from ancient Sumerian texts from Ar refer to Adu, the West Semitic form of the weather god Adad, of Aleppo as the conqueror of Ad, of Aleppo as the conqueror of Tiamat. This may show this creation story was current Semitic circles in the early 2nd millennium, and may account for the specifically West Semitic form phonetically written of the gods. And may his fine noise rumble over the earth. May he shed. And may his fine noise rumble over the earth. May he shed water from the clouds, and give sustenance to the people below. And Sharu, who like his name is responsible for the god of destinies. He does indeed every single person. Neberu, he does indeed hold the crossings of heaven and earth. Neither up or down shall they cross over. They must wait on him. Neberu is his star, which is bright in the sky. He controls the crossroads. They must look to him without respite. Shall have Neberu as his name without respite. Shall have Neberu as his name, grasping her middle. May he establish the paths of the heavenly stars, and may he shepherd all the gods like sheep. Let him defeat Tiamat, constrict her breath, and shorten her life. Let him defeat Tiamat, constrict her breath, and shorten her life, so that for future people till time grows old, and was delighted, saying, He whose fathers have given him such a splendid name shall have the name Iyah, just like me. He shall have mastery over the arrangement of all my rites, and shall direct every one of my decrees. With 50 epithets the great gods called his 50 names, making his way supreme. May they always be cherished, and may the older explain to the younger. Let the wise and learned consult together. Let the father repeat them and teach them. Let the shepherd and herdsman be open. Let him not be negligent to Marduk, the Elil of the gods. May his country be made fertile, and himself be safe and sound. His be safe and sound. His word is firm, his altar. Oh, changes up, wrote down the secret instruction which older men had recited in his presence, and set it down for future men to read. May the peoples of Marduk, whom the Igigi gods created, weave the tale and call upon his name in remembrance of his name, in remembrance of the song of Marduk, who defeated Tiamat and took the kingship. Save them, because there's other gods in the story who try to fight Tiamat, but they were scared and ran away. But Marduk, he wasn't even chosen. He spoke up. He said, you know what? Let me handle this. Let me do it. And then he won, which is dope. And he put her fucking body in the sky and the water and I think the earth. That's crazy. That's crazy. This is crazy. This is a good book. I highly recommend it. It's called Myths from Mesopotamia from Oxford World Classics. It has the creation myth, which we just finished, the flood myth, Gilgamesh, and others like Adapa and Anzu, Nergal and Ereshkigal. It has the descent of Ishtar to the underworld. It has the one we're about to read, Dunu, which I don't know what that is. And then the last one, Era and Ishum, and I don't know what that is. But this is the end of the live. That's a good story. When I come back, we'll finish it, and then hopefully we'll start